Hi, welcome to the Village of Buchanan, August 2018 board meeting. In case of emergency, please do not use the elevator. Use our exit here, our exit door, or use the staircase behind the elevator. And Jerry Andrews, would you do the honor for us of leading the pledge this evening?
Yes.
Thank you.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Great, thank you. First on the agenda is approval of minutes, the August 24th, 2018 workshop meeting. Any questions, comments, corrections?
I have no changes.
Oh, April. Oh, my gosh. Thank you.
Yeah, April 24th.
Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself here. Okay, on a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, moving along to the June 14th Village Board meeting. Questions, comments?
Nothing from me.
I have nothing.
Just one comment, just reminded me that we were going to look into some sort of sticker that would be good. Is there any follow-up on that?
I have a sticker, we just got it in for the trailers.
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh, we did?
just
Oh, we're
received
making
it. I'm gonna
progress
put
with that?
something in
Okay,
the
just
newsletter.
curious. Good. That's
Okay,
great
good.
news, thanks.
Okay, on a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and the July 3rd, 2018 Village Board meeting. Any questions, corrections, concerns, comments?
I have nothing.
Nothing from me.
Okay, on a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Tonight, we have one of our employees, Jerry Andrews, who has been with us for 20 years and has decided to retire. So we have a certificate of appreciation. So Jerry, and I'm going to ask the board also to come up so I can read that.
That's us, the board.
Oh, yeah. I was just going to tell you that, Nick. I was going to go, that would be you.
Thank you.
I'll definitely bring it down.
Wow, you did a great job with the pledge. Thanks. Okay, we're going to get some pictures. So, certificate of appreciation presented to Jerry Andrews, Highway Department. In grateful recognition of services rendered to the Village of Buchanan, State of New York, the village would like to thank you for your 20 years of service to the Highway Department. Thank you, Jerry. Thanks for everything you did. Thank you for So I'm not going to let you off that easy.
Okay, I didn't think so.
So when you started with the village, you started like everyone else on the back of the garbage truck.
Correct.
Okay. And over the years, you worked in doing different things in the village. And then you were in the water department for how many years?
I would say, how long was Richie? 2012. Yes,
Okay,
thank you. 6
so,
years.
so 6 years you took care of the water department and you did a really good job for us. So we appreciate that. And we don't want you to be a stranger.
No.
So when we have our Christmas parties, you can sit with the table of wisdom.
Thank you.
All the other retirees, and you're always welcome to come to that, so just make sure at Christmas time you come, because we have a lot of our retirees that come, so now you'll be at the table of wisdom. So thank you, Jerry. Thanks for everything that you did.
Thank you very much. I'd just like to say, in the book of life, Buchanan, Village of Buchanan, in my book, is going to be a positive experience. I can say that with every job I've held here. It's been a good experience, very memorable lifetime here, with the 20 years.
And we loved having you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry.
We missed.
All right. Thank you.
And could we get a picture with Wheels and Jerry too?
Oh, yes.
Hold up your certificate. Want a picture of just him? Oh, that's nice. Look, good.
We can take our seats, just
Yeah.
two of them.
Yeah, no, I think that's a nice picture. Yay. Cindy, do you want to get in the picture? Camera shy. Camera shy. All right.
Thank you, thank you, thank you all. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you.
That's fun.
Okay, so we have next, comments from the floor, agenda items only. Any comments? Under new business, public hearing on a proposed local law amending Chapter 163-4.
Make a motion that we open the public hearing.
Okay, second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, Nick, how would you like to read this?
Sure. Where, is that close enough? Whereas a resolution was, this is a Village of Buchanan resolution authorizing a local law amending Chapter 163 of the Code of the Village of Buchanan. Whereas a resolution was duly adopted by the Board of Trustees of the am I reading the right thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, sorry. Of the Village of Buchanan for a public hearing to be held by said village board at the municipal building, 236 Tate Avenue, Buchanan, to hear all interested parties on a proposed local law amending Chapter 163-4 entitled Placement for Collection, Storage, Refuse Containers of the Code of the Village of Buchanan. And whereas notice of said public hearing was duly advertised in the official local newspaper, and whereas said public hearing was duly held at a regularly scheduled meeting of the Village of Buchanan Board on August 7th, 2018 at 7:30 p.m. at the Municipal Building, 236 Tate Avenue, Buchanan, New York, and all parties in attendance were permitted an opportunity to speak on behalf of or in opposition to said proposed local law or any part thereof. And whereas the Board of Trustees of the Village of Buchanan, after due deliberation, finds it in the best interest of the village to adopt said local law, now be it therefore resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Buchanan hereby, am I reading the right thing? Hereby adopts local law number 3-2018, amending Chapter
Oh, the
160.
resolution, yeah, we're opening the public hearing. I'm sorry, it's my fault.
Yeah.
It's the resolution, okay.
This would be read afterwards, I think, right?
Correct, right. Well, now we know what that is. But I'm not sure if we're going to be voting on that tonight. So, I'm sorry. The public hearing is over eliminating plastic garbage bags. We have an issue in some parts of the village where the garbage bags are left out and they're being ripped up by raccoons, birds, rats, mice, whatever. The bags are being ripped up, the garbage is coming out, and it's a health hazard. And so we're considering eliminating the use of garbage bags just left out at the curb. You still can put a garbage bag in a garbage container, but just leaving garbage bags out, we're considering eliminating that option for people. So that's kind of what this resolution is about. And I think, in fairness to the public, I think we should discuss it this evening and keep it on our agenda. And so if anybody else has any comments before we approve this, they'll have another month after they see this on TV to comment about it. I know in our neighborhood, we don't have a problem with animals getting in the bags, but there are areas. So, you know, it's basically saying that everybody, it still keeps the code as you should have a garbage can and have a cover on it. But, you know, when people run out of room, you know, they're leaving the garbage bags out also, or some people don't have any garbage cans. So we're not doing this to hurt anybody. It's just a health hazard to have animals picking in this and have this stuff all over. And we're attracting vermin and different things when we have this exposed. So that's what we're considering doing. Any comments from the board?
Yep. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was thinking that in our last discussion, or earlier discussion on this, there was the idea that food items were prohibited, but if you had other items, non-food,
Yeah.
it would be okay. Is that still the language?
Well, that's not in this language here, the way it's written, but I'm concerned about that. I agree with you on
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I agree.
I think there's a few situations where we should, I don't know that I'd like to see an elimination of bags completely. I think we need to stop people from putting out bags with food garbage
Right.
the night before. All of my neighbor, well, a lot of the neighbors that I could see from my porch, let's say, put out their garbage at 7:30 in the morning, the day of pickup, and a lot of them just, an older woman living by herself, there's like a little, like a little ShopRite bag of garbage. There's not much, but some people have a lot more garbage. Some people have 1 or 2 garbage containers, and then you have times you do spring cleanup. You might have 2 or 3 garbage bags full of stuff. You go at Christmas time, you can have all sorts of bags. So I don't think I want to see an elimination of bags completely, but we need to find some way to get people to not put out food garbage. And if there is food garbage and a raccoon chews through your bag and leaves stuff all over, I don't think it should be the highways department's responsibility to clean it up. I think they should be given us a summons if it's not cleaned up within X number of hours that we could discuss. Maybe, like if you have a sidewalk, you got to clear the snow within 12 hours of the snow, or, just put something like that. You have to clean it up that day, otherwise you get a summons. Or maybe, send out something to people, letting them know not to put out food garbage in plastic bags. And another thing is, I think this, after looking at this section of the code, I think the whole thing needs to be rewritten, because it includes stuff that, tell me if I'm wrong, we don't pick up ashes. A lot of this section deals with people picking up ashes, and ashes should be, ash containers should be made of metal, and the board may authorize the removal of garbage and ashes from the receptacle storage areas. We don't do any of that. Bob, I'm going to ask you directly. Do we pick up ashes?
We don't inspect the garbage bags that are being picked up, so you don't know what's in them.
That'd be
Or was
somebody,
is this a section of code going back to when people burnt coal, or is this from fireplace ashes?
Probably for barbecues.
Barbecues?
I wouldn't be surprised if people at times did do that, like when
Yeah.
the fireplace, they clean it out, it's cool, they
put it in a bag or something.
put a garbage bag and put it in the garbage can.
Okay. All right, so like I said, I don't think we should vote on this. This is something we need to discuss at a workshop and then bring it forward and then
Okay.
vote for it.
I agree.
But I'm going to read the thing that we were really looking at. It's number B of the section 163-4, and garbage and rubbish receptacles shall be containers commercially manufactured for the purpose, equipped with suitable handles and tight-fitting covers, and shall be watertight. Or what we're trying to eliminate is the suitable plastic garbage bags. So what the board needs to do at the next workshop is to look at the ash thing, definitely, we'll talk about that, but to work on this line to where we put in that plastic bags can be used perhaps for, the plastic bags that contain food items need to be placed
In a container.
in a container.
Right,
Non-food garbage can be in a
plastic bag,
plastic bag.
without the container.
Right,
Right.
right, if
Non-
it's
yeah.
non-food. Because
Right.
what the problem, this all spiraled from animals getting into garbage bags. So that's another way to eliminate that, because I personally hate to tell people they can't use plastic
Yeah.
garbage bags too.
And I saw somebody put out a garbage pail with plastic bags in it and no lid on the garbage pail. So that's the same thing. It's, there's no lid on your garbage pail, you might as well just not have a garbage pail.
Some of these raccoons are big. They can just tip it, so. All right, so we are, any other discussion on that right now while we have the public hearings? The public hearing is going to remain open, so we're going to table this, but if any other trustees have any other comments right now.
I'm a city boy, and this thing with the it seems that these animals or vermin, whether they're attracted to the white bags. I think they leave the black ones alone, though, don't they?
No.
They pick through the black garbage can bags
Oh, yeah.
too.
If it's food in it, they're going for it.
Yeah.
Okay, because I thought maybe they could smell through it, or they could see. Okay.
Definitely
They
smell.
can smell like, yeah.
Okay, it's just a point for me.
Okay. So that's number one on the next workshop. We're going to reword that and continue the public hearing, so we're going to table that for now.
Very good.
Sorry, Nick.
No, that's a good idea.
So Nick,
Yes.
if, make a motion to table, okay. Okay, I'm going to make a motion to table this. We're going to keep the public hearing open on a motion.
So move.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, Nick, so you did such a good job at the last one. If you could read number C.
Okay, what is C?
Resolution awarding the roadway improvement project. Got it?
I can.
Okay, good.
Okay. Whereas the Village Board of Trustees has previously authorized the advertising for proposals to repair roadways throughout the village, and whereas said request for proposals was properly advertised and bids were received and publicly read aloud on August 2nd, 2018 at 2 p.m., whereas the following bids were received for repair of roadways and road structures throughout the Village of Buchanan. Do you want me to read these individual bids?
No, you could
I
read
can-
the top bid and maybe the most expensive bid,
Yeah,
so
well,
people can see the
Right,
the
the
difference.
bids range for the same work, range from 171,000 to 483,000. Reminds me of when I was looking to get central air. The lowest bid and highest bid are always 3 times. Anyway, most of the bids are in the 220 to 270 range, but there are a couple of bids that are very high and one bid that's lower. We did get 7 bids. It's pretty good.
Yeah. So, this was a really good bid. This came in at a really good price. So we're looking at doing Upper 4th Street this year. Also, I will be going out with Kevin, our administrator, and our engineer to look at some other projects. We're going to do some patching, possibly some crack sealing, and what we're really interested in doing are catch basins. So some of these catch basins are quite old, and they're starting to crumble, so we're going to see how far we can go with the money. I think, Kevin, we have, what, $265,000 in the budget, so... So we're going to, we'll probably be back next month with whatever other work we're going to be doing. But for now, this is the top of 4th Street, which is in bad shape. And I know we have a lot of roads to do in the village, and we'll be talking more about that this year for next year's projects. On a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
The next, Dwayne, could you read the next?
Yes,
Releasing a performance bond?
Yes, Village of Buchanan resolution authorizing release of the bond. Whereas the work to be performed by Con Edison with respect to the PST building has been completed, and whereas the village engineer has inspected the work and has recommended that the performance bond in the amount of $345,000 be released. Now be it therefore resolved that the village clerk is authorized to take all steps necessary, including executing the necessary documents to release the bond in the sum of $345,000 that were posted pursuant to the resolution of the board.
Kevin, would you like to, this was an interesting bond. Usually our bonds are good for like 1 or 2 years. This
Sure.
one, I don't know.
Con had reached out to us about a bond that a performance bond that we were holding on there. It was a project from 2002, and like we said, the PST building, which I believe is on the switch yard over there. And it was taken as, from the planning board resolution of $345,000, which was to be held for 1 year. In case the contractor or whatever was unable to finish the work, the money would be there to finish the project. The project was finished. I talked to the village engineer a long time ago, and I guess it's just Con Ed catching up with their paperwork and realizing that there was a performance bond being held here. So they reached out to us. We looked it up. Yep, it said it was only supposed to be held for 1 year, and we got back to them and said, look, we'll do a resolution to release the bond, and that's how we got here.
Okay, good. On a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Rich, if you could read the next.
Village of Buchanan resolution appointing highway personnel. Whereas the Village of Buchanan has an opening for the water MEO position as a result of an employee retirement, and whereas it is desire of the board to name and designate an individual for the aforesaid position, now be it therefore resolved that the individual named below be and is hereby appointed by the mayor to the position listed below, subject to the approval of the village board. Position MEO Water, appointee Randy Hasselgrave, effective 8/8/2018. Salaries for the above positions are found in the current collective bargaining agreement between the Teamsters and the Village of Buchanan. Be it further resolved that the individual undertake all assigned duties associated with the job, title/position, effective as of the date indicated above, and that the village administrator place the individual on the payroll in accordance with the appointment.
Okay, thank you. So we, Jerry Andrews retired. We just gave him his certificate. And Randy has been working with Jerry through the transition. And so now Randy will replace Jerry as the water department, head of the water department.
And we'll invite you all back in 20 years when we give Randy a certificate.
That's right.
Yep.
Okay. On a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so, hold on one second. What did I do with my agenda? Sometimes I'm so organized, I'm disorganized. That makes sense, right? Okay, thanks, Nick. Okay. Justice Court Report for June 2018, received and filed. The amount reported is $1,203. Fire Inspector's Report, June to July 2018, received and filed.
Thank you.
Planning Board Minutes, meeting, May 2018, received and filed. Attorney's Report, do you have anything for us?
Well, just real
Steph?
quick, for the secretary, just for the record, when we did the Resolution C, awarding a roadway improvement project, you probably should know the name of the low bidder, just for the record, because I don't think that was read.
Right.
And I think that was Peter J. Landy, Inc., just because I think you should have that on there, because that's who was awarded it.
I don't think they've ever done work here in the village, have they? No, so it's a new contractor. Okay.
I would like for the next workshop, if we could talk about the cancer bill for the firefighters that's coming up. We have to get our
Okay.
insurance. I have some information on that I think the board should. I think we should plan to meet with the powers that be at the fire department, and I don't know who they are. Maybe you do. So if we could put that on for that. And then I only have one other thing for executive session. That's all I had.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Kevin, you're
Okay,
next. Yeah, sorry.
All right, just got a couple things. I just wanted to speak about the water meter project. I just want to let residents know that they'll be receiving a letter, it'll come on village letterhead, giving you options on how you can make your appointment to make that change. It'll give you an online one as well as a phone number to call. I just want to let everybody know that it is from the Village of Buchanan. It will be on our letterhead. And they want to let you know, also know that each change is probably going to take about 15 to 20 minutes with their employees. They ask, and it's in the letter as well, that you kind of get the area clean, as it's clean so that they get easy access to that area. Also, that it would take about 3 months. Probably be starting sometime in September, wrapping up around Thanksgiving.
By the end of the year, yeah, we'll be done. Okay,
So
good.
About 3 months. And of course, that's depending on how well everybody signs up for appointments and we get to everybody. So.
Yeah, okay.
Paving project, we just approved a nice favorable bid. I don't think I've ever seen 7 bids for one of these projects before, which was good. As the mayor said, we're going to have a pre-construction meeting and we'll talk about some other work that they can do for us as well. We do currently have over 30 catch basins that are in need of work, so we're going to ask them for a rebuild price on catch basins to
Okay,
kind of
good.
get some of that work done. And finally, I just want to give you a wastewater update. With our consultants, we've seen a significant reduction in our sludge removal over the last 2 months, which is, it was a positive thing, which they have the system working well right now. They're using both sides of the treatment plant. Another thing we're going to start to do is we're going to start to examine the collection system by pulling manholes, because we believe that we're still getting a lot of water infiltration through the system. So we know of a couple spots where they think maybe you're getting about 10,000 gallons per day, but if you find 4 or 5 of those, that's 50, 60 gallons. That's like, a fifth of your total flow for a daily flow. So, I mean, these are things we got to look at, areas to save money, areas to improve the system as well.
Okay.
That's really all I have for you right now.
All right, good. All right, thank you. The only thing I want to comment on tonight is there was an article in the Journal News, and it was today, as a matter of fact, could Indian Point be next up for sale? So what I want to say to everyone, Entergy has not contacted us yet on the direction the property is going to go. They are waiting to do a PSDAR report, and that's Post-Shutdown Decommissioning Activities Report. So they're just not there yet. What this article is saying is there's other companies, of course. The trend in this country is to close nuclear power plants. So you're seeing more and more companies appear that are going to be doing decommissioning throughout the country. When you go to Vermont, they're still in discussion with North Star, which is a big company that does not only decommissioning, but just taking structures apart. One of the companies that might be a potential here is Holtec. Holtec is the company that supplies the big canisters for the spent nuclear waste. So Holtec has been in the nuclear industry for many years. So I know the paper is questioning whether Indian Point would do this or not. I think, my personal opinion is I think yes, and I would really hope that that happens. These are companies that actually, this is their business, what they do. But not only that, it will be a quicker decommissioning process, which will let the property become available much quicker. So we have no information from Indian Point yet. They still have to do some reports, and they have not come out with any direction on this plant yet. When they do, we will get that information out to you. So there's nothing in stone yet. That's basically what I wanted to say, and we're hoping that that happens because it could significantly cut the time down for decommissioning. We don't want it to go into a safe store, which could be up to 60 years. So if we can get this plant decommissioned, they're saying some of them like 8 years. That would be a good thing for our tax base. So a lot going on. We'll still continue to, going forward, we're still going to continue working with the communities, which now they're building more and more communities that are losing their nuclear power plants. So we'll continue to work with them. And that's all I have for the updates on Indian Point this evening. But thank you. Nick? Oh, I'm sorry,
Okay.
did I?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Good.
Okay.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Stephanie. I didn't flip over the page when I read the resolution, the last line, who the contractor was awarded to. I want to congratulate our local barber. We seem to be making the paper a lot.
I know, we're hot.
Not just
hot
because
place
of
here.
Indian Point, the article on real estate. Earlier in July, about a month ago, there was a front-page article in the Journal News on our local barber, a fellow who owns it now, Mark Young. A whole-page article. It was very kind of fun, interesting article, and it's nice to see. Support our local businesses, and hopefully we can attract some more. I have my new segment of my report now is my local my dining segment, where I report on local dining because nothing's more important than eating when you're Southern European, right? So I had mentioned Little Cabin Sandwich Shop up on Route 202 last time. Unbelievably good sandwiches, fresh stuff, and highly recommend that if you're ever up out on Route 202. Nearby, I had a really nice meal at Yucca's. They do an amazing, I'm very impressed with that place. That's the place over on Furnace Stock in 9A. And I had a skirt steak last time when I was there, and it's kind of a Mexican fusion place, but they do a real nice job with their skirt steak. I recommend that place as well. And that's the end of my dining report. Now on to a new segment of my
okay.
report, which I call the "No individual raindrop ever considers itself responsible for the flood" section of my report. No individual raindrop ever considers itself responsible for the flood. A flood occurs because lots and lots of raindrops have an effect together. And what I want to talk about is plastic use and littering. You know, you're all seeing it in the news, and it's just too big of a problem, so we probably just ignore it. How these giant seas of plastic are floating in the oceans. And what I've read now is that they estimate by 2050 there will be more plastic in the oceans than there will be fish. And one of the problems is that plastic doesn't decompose, but breaks up into smaller and smaller pieces. Tiny pieces that the fish are consuming. So often when you're consuming fish, you're getting these tiny pieces of plastic that are inside the fish. So I'm not saying don't eat fish. I love fish. What I am saying is you are one raindrop, but do what you can to minimize your plastic use. If you go to if you go into a store and you buy one thing that's already in a container, you don't need to also put it in a plastic bag. Instead of buying a giant Fisher-Price bright-colored plastic toy that's made in China, learn some carpentry skills and make your grandkids wooden toys. You like that one? But here in the village, I see people throwing stuff on the streets, and it winds up in the storm drains. And one of those things is cigarette butts. And they estimate that cigarette butts are the largest component of the plastic waste generated that winds up in the oceans. 1/5 of the garbage, when they do cleanups, 1/5 of the garbage is cigarette butts, which seems ridiculous because it's such a small thing. But here's a figure that I looked up, and this was a couple of websites. One was an Oceanographic Institute study, and another one was National Geographic. And 176 million pounds per year of cigarette butts are generated in this country. So if you smoke, best thing, stop smoking. Second best thing, don't throw your cigarette butt out your window. Even though you're just one raindrop, they all add up, and they're all going down the storm drains, and they're going out into the river, and they're winding up in the ocean. So be a responsible raindrop and try to minimize your impact on the flood. Try to ease your plastic use and not litter the streets of Buchanan. How do you like that? That's my job report.
Okay, thank you.
But you know the funny thing with that is now you can't buy a car with an ashtray in it, which is unfortunate.
You can't what?
You can't buy a car with an ashtray. They don't make ashtrays in cars anymore.
Most people don't want them, I think.
Okay, well, I'm just...
I don't know.
Just saying why people probably flick them out now, more they used to...
Most people use them for change, so now they added change trays instead.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Okay. Just throwing that in there.
Okay.
Okay.
Cheech, what do you have for us tonight?
Thank you. I can't believe the summer's like almost over. Our next meeting, the kids are going to be in school already. I mean, this summer is like, just blown by. And also, we should all be cognizant of our neighbors now with this horrible humidity. Especially the elderly, or if you know anybody that has difficulty breathing, just check in on them. I know I do, and it's a good thing to do, just to check in on especially the elderly and young children. I was going over our police reports for the past month, and thank you, Brian, for giving me this. And I'd just like to highlight a few of them here. And there's actually a couple here where we had some arrests affected here in the village. Saturday, July 14th, 12:35 a.m., Officer Anthony Palmetto observes vehicle commit several vehicle and traffic law violations. Upon stopping the vehicle, Officer Palmetto determines the 19-year-old male driver from Beacon was impaired by drugs, and the subject was arrested. On the 17th of July, Tuesday at 6:30 in the morning, Officer Courtney Lochner observes a car cross a double yellow line on Broadway and pass another car. While pursuing the offending vehicle, Officer Lochner observes the driver commit several other violations. Upon stopping the offending vehicle, Officer Lochner determines that the driver's license is suspended. 27-year-old male driver from Plank was arrested and issued multiple summonses. And here on July 29th, Officer Shane Farrell responds to a village resident for a report of a suicidal subject. Officer Farrell is able to calm him down and convince him to go by ambulance to the hospital for assistance and evaluation. It's a good job to hear that. That's all I have.
Okay, all right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Trustee Jackson?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Also, just to kind of follow up on what Nick was saying, along Tate Avenue, I sometimes periodically stop and pick up, plastic containers and stuff, because a lot of our drain ditches are certainly on Tate.
Yeah.
And that seems to be a semi-dumping ground and stuff.
Yeah, I saw somebody a few weeks ago just walking up the street with a beverage can and,
Yeah.
like, as though it was a garbage pail, just throw it into the storm drain.
Check my
So-
lawn once in a while.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so,
done on-
for all the residents to be aware of not dumping, but if you're walking or walking your dogs up, maybe break your stride and grab it, because one of the other things, and I was showing it to a trustee function earlier, down at the Veterans Plaza in Verplank, they have an apparatus there, Kevin, where there is a plastic bag container to pick up the poop
Oh, yeah.
and a receptacle to put it in. I took pictures of it, and I will share that with the board, and maybe we can cost it out and maybe put a couple of those around, or at least one or two on Tate or other places throughout the village. But again, it doesn't get any simpler than that.
Yeah, I've seen those in parks before.
Yeah. So I'll share that with you guys later on. Had a very interesting morning. Former Mayor Sean did a public service commercial for the DAV, the Disabled American Veterans, and we filmed it this morning down at the park in Verplank. And it's actually, little pieces of it are going to be shown on News 12 starting today. But the project, which was sponsored by the DAV, was actually a commitment from ABC television, and they're actually going to be shown on the jumbotrons of Good Morning America,
Oh, wow.
the Disney Store, and forget the other one, in Times Square. So I'll bring that to your attention once it's done. And a couple of the Verplank residents were there as well as myself. And
Nice.
it was a real nice piece. They brought the kids out there, and they showed the two disabled veterans walking down holding the flag, and then we raise the flag and take it down and fold it up and that type of thing. But a very patriotic piece, and I was happy to be a part of that. The other thing is we're going to be having the time capsule meeting, which will be September 18th at 6 p.m. Here at the Village Hall, and look for that in the September notice of the monthly newsletter. And that's all I got.
All right, good, thank you. And we look forward to seeing that in Times Square. That should be interesting. And you'll be able to see it because you're in
Yeah.
Times Square every day. So
Sure.
that should be interesting. Good. Yeah, let us know.
Yeah.
Okay, Rich, trustee Funchin.
Last but not least, I'm not going to talk about plastic.
Yay.
Uh,
Thank you.
Everybody look out for the newsletter in September. The announcement for Buchanan Day will be in there, September 22nd, 11 o'clock to 4 p.m. I'd like to see everybody come out. It's always a good time. And this year we're having more vendors, so I think there'll be more things for adults to be looking at, but there's also some new entertainment that'll be there. So please come out and enjoy and gather with your fellow citizens of Buchanan. A reminder, please, for all of those who like to drive around their vehicles, making a lot of noise, that we have neighbors, and this is a residential area. So please have some consideration revving up your motorcycles and your trucks, et cetera, for people who are sitting out enjoying their summer. We still got a lot of summer to go, Cheech. I wouldn't give up on summer,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there's probably some little kids going to watch this and go, oh, man, summer's over already?
Yeah.
The trustee said summer was over.
Yeah, and I'm not going to Florida this year.
Oh, you're not?
No,
Oh, jeez.
my summer's going too quick.
So enjoy the remainder of summer. There's still a good few weeks, and unfortunately, the humidity is not very enjoyable. But for those who are looking forward to going to the beach in the next couple of weeks, I'm sure that that is irrelevant, as long as it doesn't rain. And I'd like to wish everybody a very nice Labor Day. And remember how this country became great. It was on the backs of labor who built this country, and we should think of that at that particular time of year. And finally, Jerry, once again, thank you for your service, and I hope you enjoy retirement. And as we who are retired say, every night is Friday and every day is Saturday. Enjoy. Thank you, Mayor.
Yes, sir.
I just have two announcements. Next month, the County Executive George Latimer is scheduled to visit us at our September 4th meeting. And also next month, we're going to have our new historical consultant, George Boyle, here. And he'll talk about some of the things that he wants to do. So it'll be great.
Meeting or workshop?
At the meeting. I want people to meet him at the meeting. And he'll talk more when he's here next month. Okay, comments from the floor. Any comments from the floor? Oh, my God.
Eileen Absinger.
Should be on.
Is it
Oh,
on?
no.
Yeah.
Is it? I
Yeah.
can't.
Doesn't
Yeah, it's
sound-
on.
It doesn't sound like it's on.
The
not loud, but-
switch is right where your thumb is there.
Now it's
You just
off.
cut it off.
All right.
That's
Anyway,
good.
Now we can hear you.
138 Tate Avenue.
That's good.
I have a question regarding the water installation, the meters. If your meter is on the outside of your house, what do they actually need to get to?
On the outside of the house, that's a remote read. That's not where the meter is. The meter's inside your house.
No,
Outside,
the meter is outside my house. They
Don't
read
think
my
so.
meter from the outside of my house.
I've never read that.
So-
So, I mean,
Oh.
it's a remote.
Or,
That's a
or,
remote?
Yeah. Yep.
so there's
Okay,
got to be
so-
another meter
So there's
inside.
another meter inside
Inside
the
the
house? Okay.
Do you know where the water comes into your
Well,
house?
I don't know that, I don't know how old that meter is, but,
Probably somewhere in your basement, there's a corner or a closet where the water comes in, and there'll be something a little
no, there
more
isn't. I know where the water
cumbersome.
comes in. I
Yeah?
know there's a main,
Well, your house
water.
is different than every other house in
But
the
it's-
village, so maybe.
well, I don't know, you never know.
You
Never
know,
what
Eileen,
you're
it took
gonna
me,
find.
it took me 20 years to find that to know I had a water meter inside the house. I was
Well,
like you, I thought it was the
They never came inside the house
outside,
to
and
read
then
the
I
meter,
found it.
so
Do you
do
have
other
a-
people,
Do you
do
have a
other
shut off in
people?
your- Do you have a place in your house, if you had to, you could shut off all the water?
Yeah, that's,
You
I
should
mean,
be
that's,
somewhere in that
but
Yeah,
it's-
it should
vicinity.
be right, that's where I found it.
yeah, no, I have that. I have a lot of shut-offs, but
That's
I
what-
have that.
Yeah, if there's like a main one?
Yes, there is
the-
a main
the-
one.
The actual meter should be somewhere close to it.
Okay,
Follow
but this
the
is a
pipes.
remote meter that mimics the inside meter? So you don't have to come
Your
in?
main meter is right next to your reducer, your house reducer,
Hmm?
reduces the pressure.
Okay.
Turn off the main. The meter's right next to it.
Oh, this should be
And
fun.
also with your shut off, your shut off will be about a foot away from that.
Okay, I'll check it. I'll check out, see what it is. You mentioned Holtec.
Yes.
They are doing a project in New Jersey, 8 years. Oyster Creek decommissioning could be complete in 8 years. This is theirs. This was an article from July 31st, 2018. I have it if anybody wants to read it.
Okay, yeah.
I'm not sure if Entergy is even considering Holtec versus North Star.
Yeah, we won't know
Or
yet.
anybody.
Yeah, we won't know yet. We hope they do. And as time goes on, it'll be, this is just like the first run of this, so 8 years they're predicting, but as time goes on, of course, the technology and everything will get better.
Right. Also, in regards to 2021, Sal was going to request figures. I'm not sure if it was from, I believe he was going through you, Teresa, because the group, when we were meeting, we felt that we needed figures in order to come up with any kind of ideas. Since Con Ed or Entergy is not proposing selling anything, I think those figures are imperative. And, I will contact Sal just because he had some kind of circumstance that came up the last time he couldn't get,
Okay.
he was going to get in touch with
Yeah,
you.
we'll be meeting again in September, and we
Right, I
have
saw that
a
wasn't
tour
on
to
the
do.
agenda. Yeah.
So,
Last thing, Florida. We have Florida right here, so you don't need to go to Florida. And the humidity is almost as bad as Florida's. Almost as bad, not quite, but almost.
I know.
The last thing is that the litter is going on my lawn. I pick up the cups, the
people
cigarette
throw things out of
packages.
windows.
That's right. It's the largest, freestanding piece of lawn that they could throw on without any trees, without any fences, without any shrubs. So I do get all the garbage.
I just found it's
So-
gotten worse lately with the garbage.
Well, it gets worse when
Maybe in
kids
the
are off.
summertime and-
Summertime,
yeah.
they're walking around, they're going to a
You see that on,
deli.
I mean, Tate,
or
because it's the
whatever.
main drive-through, I think, seems to be, draw that, I don't know. Do
Yeah.
you see much of that on where you are?
No,
No,
not
no,
down.
no.
You're not gonna
around.
see it.
No,
It's cul-de-sacs
it's
and
kids
stuff.
walking
Tape.
also.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
just,
Yeah, people
throw.
walking, that's
Yeah.
And adults. I mean, I'm not gonna just blame kids. There are adults
no.
out there that don't know
Absolutely.
enough to carry their garbage. Okay, thank you.
all right, thank you, Eileen. Any other comments from the floor?
I just want to, one thing I just remembered, I have observed every day there's a truck goes down Tate with pool water. Does anybody know why there's every day? It usually turns coming from Verplank and turns down Tate. Big, huge truck.
Maybe
Like a
lives on the
tanker
block.
truck.
Yeah.
I've
Maybe
seen
lives
it,
on the
yeah.
block.
What?
Maybe lives on the block.
No, yeah. Somebody, I don't
I
know.
don't know.
Somebody's
There's only
building
one
some
pool
pools,
on
I
Tate
guess.
That I know of.
Yeah, I mean, there's not that many pools in the village, so I don't know why the pool truck is going down Tate all the time. But I just noticed that.
Check it out.
Busy road. Okay, if there's no more comments, I'd like to make a motion to go into executive session to discuss personnel, negotiations, and possible litigation.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Have a great Buchanan day.